Good morning. Please continue to enjoy your breakfast, but we're about to get started. We do have some open seats in the front if you're standing and you'd like to have a seat. Welcome this morning to the Danville Public Schools State of the District Breakfast. I'm Crystal Cobbs, Chair of the Danville School Board. Please stand as we say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. This past year has been one of change for our school district as we implemented our 2021-26 strategic plan and continued work on our corrective action plan. We wanted to take the opportunity to share with you all the work that has taken place over the last year. Joining me today are my colleagues. We have Vice Chair, Mr. Tyquan Graves in the back. We have Mr. Brandon Atkins right here in the front, Ms. Keisha Averett, Mr. Terrell Payne, and Mr. Charles McWilliams. I would also like to recognize all city and state elected officials joining us today. Would you please stand? Thank you. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you all for your continued support. At this time, I will turn it over to our illustrious leader, Dr. Angela Harrison. Please give her a hand as she comes forward.
It's a great morning. It's a great morning. It's a great morning. It's a great morning. And I want to thank all of you for coming. And I want to thank the Institute for a great breakfast, right? They're always stepping up, right? Yeah, let's give them a hand. So today, I'm so thankful that you took time, and I promise not to keep you too long. I really, really do. I know you're very busy people. And I'm probably so nervous. I told my husband as well, I'm so nervous. I've done hundreds of these, and I'm just nervous today, basically because of all these important people in here. Now, Mayor Jones, you have never shied away from attention now. Come on, stand up, stand up. You just kind of stood up a little bit. You got to stand up and be recognized, okay? So good morning, school board members, our city council, other elected officials, our teachers. Our teachers are here today, and our students. Our city manager, our deputy chief of police and chief of police, our district school leaders and community leaders. We are all here today to talk about our school district, and we're well into our second year of these efforts to improve student achievement and move our district up in rankings in the state. So I'm so glad that you took time out this morning to be a part of this experience. We have faced historic challenges that have not been issues just within our community, but global issues. The pandemic has forced us to rethink and reimagine education and the way we deliver public education. Who would have thought 2 years ago that we would have a virtual academy that served nearly 900 students, a virtual academy? Who would have thought that all of our students would have had Canvas and virtual and Zoom and all these platforms to learn and from their teachers, really, and have great experiences. So this morning gives me great pleasure to stand before you and give you the state of our district. Where are we now? I'm proud to say that our district is moving in the right direction. The ship is turning in the right direction and continues to do the work of the children. By no means am I here to say that we are where we want to be. But I will say that we're moving in the right direction and we're headed in a good direction. Tremendous progress on the macro and the micro levels have been made over this last year. Today, during my overview of the state of the district, I plan to share with you some of these successes and also some of our challenges. Of all the mountains we've had to climb, however, I will say that embracing change has been the most difficult. The infrastructure mountain, the staff development, recruitment and retention efforts, and student achievement. But all of these improvements require change. They require us to think differently about education. Historically, leaders shy away from change. They shy away from large doses of shifts in the way we do business because change can be painful for some, change can be divisive for others, change can sometimes be confusing to people. Change can bring out the best in people, and change can bring out the worst in people. But change is necessary if we're going to move the needle in the Danville Public Schools. So let's get started. In December of 2020, I reached out to Danville Regional Foundation for support to write a strategic plan. I had not been here but a week, and I don't think Cecil Castile Clark Castile even knew who I was, and I'm going to get his name right here as we stream this live. But Clark Castile probably didn't even know who I was, but he had faith in a process. And so he and the Danville Regional Foundation supported 6 months of the development of a 5-year strategic plan, one that involved parents, students, teachers, classified staff, community members. And as a result, we emerged with a new vision to inspire, educate, and develop students in collaboration with families and community to ensure students graduate college and or career ready. And the vision was actually written by a student. We envision a school division that cultivates excellence for all. A student wrote this vision and presented it to us as an option. And as we lead into the next phase of our school district, we must keep in mind our theory of action. What primary goals emerged from that planning session? What did the community have to say relative to what we needed to work on? They said we needed to work on climate and culture. Culture and climate became our primary goal, our first goal, to look at climate and culture, our leadership. Are we inclusive? Are we paying attention to our staff? How are people feeling? Are they feeling safe? Is there a sense of equity? We then rolled around to stakeholder engagement and communication, and our community, internal and external, said to us, we need better stakeholder engagement and we need better communication. And communication came up over and over and over again. And we knew that we needed to address the gaps in communication. Staff learning and growth. Our teachers said we need better professional learning. We need better capacity building opportunities. We need improved opportunities to learn the craft. And we knew we needed operations and internal processes to be reviewed because we know if we're not efficient and effective and we don't use our dollars wisely, we cannot impact a student achievement. And that's when we get the highest student achievement. When we address climate and culture, we have stakeholder engagement and effective communication. We train our staff, we build capacity with our leaders, we have good processes and procedures, and that's when student achievement moves to the highest level. And so who are we serving? Who are we serving? We're serving 5,700 plus students. We were one of the few school districts in the state last year that saw an uptick in enrollment, and we felt it was due to our opportunities with Virtual Academy. 72% of our students are African American, 17% Caucasian, 9% Hispanic, 1% Asian. We have 318 English language learners, but most of our English language learners are born here in the United States. 77% of our students are on free or reduced lunch, and 255 students attend preschool, and that was an uptick from the year before. Preschool matters. Preschool matters, and we're one of the few communities with a robust preschool that's led by Principal Simmers. And so goal area one. And so I'm going to try to walk through the 5 goal areas and not keep you here all morning because I know you're busy people and I know you want me to move on with this and have some highlights. So goal area 1 was around student achievement. And we know that we had other things that had to happen prior to that, but goal area 1 was student achievement. Student achievement matters. In 2020, our Chief Academic Officer, Takiwi Babalola, hello Takiwi, she's usually talking about being on cloud 9 because she loves her job. She loves her job. With 67 additional teachers, wrote a local curriculum based on state standards. She wrote a curriculum and rolled it out there. It was just amazing work to do in such a short period of time, but we know it had to happen. We had to have a local curriculum that addressed the needs of our children, that closed the gaps for our children. And throughout the curriculum, you saw an emphasis on reading, 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 and more reading, because we know literacy is the backbone of all that we do. According to the Annie E. Casey Foundation, the pool for the employers, or that the employers can draw from, colleges and military, is too small. The pool is too small nationally and still shrinking, because millions of American children get to the 4th grade without reading proficiently. We also know that 3rd grade reading levels are tied to what? Graduation rates. So you see literacy, literacy, literacy at early ages tracked, emphasized, because children must read at the early ages. Each year, millions of children enter the dropout track simply by failing to read at high levels in early grades. Reading and math skills must be mastered at early grades. And so the content-specific area, those mastery of skills, is emphasized over and over again. And we'll hear from Jennifer Underwood about a program that was implemented to address literacy.
Haggerty, or if you come to preschool, you're going to hear all the little children call it the Purple Book, is a phonemic awareness program that Danville Public Schools adopted for this school year, and I absolutely think this is one of the best programs that we have ever used. So it is an oral program, so it is the teacher sitting in front of the class, going through the skills, whether it be rhyming, onset, and the children are following along with hand motions and repeating and manipulating sounds. Phonics is so important for these littles because we want them to learn how to start reading. And of course, you cannot do that until you recognize those letters and you understand those sounds and how to blend them together. So that is what the Purple Book does. So we start very lightly at the beginning of the year, and then the skills just keep progressing. But what we really want them to do is be able to manipulate and to hear it. It's not always visual. We need their ears to turn on to say, oh, is that at the beginning of the word? Do I hear the sound in the middle, the end? Does this rhyme? Does this sound the same? How many parts do you hear in a word? So for them just to be able to listen and that mindset, it's really going to help them when they get to kindergarten to learn those early readiness skills. And some of them are already ready to read and are reading. The children love it. It's so much fun. As soon as we pull it out, they're like, Purple Book! And it goes in the same pattern every day, but some weeks it has a different skill that it picks up, which they're always excited about. But as soon as we sit on the carpet, they know exactly what to do with their hands, and they repeat and they manipulate, and it's actually so astounding at how much they have picked up. Phonemic awareness is so hard to teach in the younger grades because it takes up so much time, and I think for teachers we stress, are they getting this? Are they getting this enough? And the Purple Book gives us a 10 to 15 minute lesson for the children to listen to and participate in. So you're covering all of those standards that they want us to in a short period of time. That's very effective for these little learners. Haggerty is such a wonderful resource, and since we have started the program in preschool, they are going to get the same pattern and the same program in kindergarten and first grade. So this is just going to help them build on those skills. So it's so nice that we have started so young. So when they go into kindergarten, they will already know the routine and the pattern of how things go, and they can just keep building on those phonemic awareness skills.
Such an awesome teacher. And I can tell you that this focus on literacy at such an early age is so important. But guess what? We have almost 150 students who enter kindergarten without any preschool experience. And so we've got to really work better as a community, getting all of our children in courses in this preschool experience so they enter school ready to learn. We have a wonderful partnership with Smart Beginnings, and they work and track this data on a regular basis. But we know that literacy is the backbone of all that we do, and we know that we must continue to work in this area. And I know the headlines mentioned that we had 2 schools fully accredited, but you all, guess what? I was really glad that we had 2 schools fully accredited because it's been a tough road with COVID. So I want to congratulate Galileo. Our principal is here today with her staff and students, And I also want to congratulate Mr. Crowderfield with his staff and here today with Forest Hills. You can smile, Mr. Crowder. I mean, not Mr. Crowderfield, yes, you can smile. You can actually smile. And I want you to know that there are 3 levels of accreditation. One is accreditation denied, one is accreditation with conditions, and one is fully accredited. And so all of our other schools met with conditions. And you might say, well, is that really to be celebrated? It's to be celebrated because what we saw tremendous growth in our schools. Woodbury Hills, a level 1, they had not reached a level 1 in 5 years in mathematics. Gibson, a level 2, had not reached it in 5 years. And so we see tremendous growth. And when you see growth, you see opportunity. And you know that we're headed in the right direction. And so as we looked at our early years and our early reading, we knew that the pass rate exceeded last year's. We saw that. But we also have what's called a growth measure. If a child walks into your school for the first time, the state of Virginia provides you credit for growing that child throughout the year. And we appreciate those growth measures and the acknowledgement of that work. But I can tell you, it's nothing for these principals to be ashamed of when it comes to accreditation because they, again, are moving in the right direction. We knew secondary would be more challenging because children typically shy away from learning how to read at a higher fluency rate when they're older. They're embarrassed. They don't want to be in those classes that support literacy. So we've got to get it right at the early years, and this demonstrates why. But we're even seeing growth in this particular area. And so what else are we doing to ensure that our children have access and opportunities? Because we know literacy and math skills are very important. But we also know that this renewed focus on literacy and consistency, grade level after grade level after grade level, must be supported by rigor and challenges. And we want our children who are ready to go to the next level and our children who want to be challenged and ready to be challenged to be ready for that. And so this past year, we worked closely with Danville Community College. Dr. Wallace announced the early college program. This was will be an amazing opportunity for our students. Our students will graduate with a high school diploma and an associate's degree to go on to the next level. It saves dollars for parents, it's an investment for the school district, and we know that many of those children will hang right here and transition right on over to Averett University, right, Dr. Franks? Absolutely. Our IB program increased. Ms. Ramsey increased and expanded IB from 11th and 12th grade opportunities to 9th and 10th grade opportunities. We increased in our advanced placement. Our governor's school enrollment is still hanging there stable. We also had a focus on CTE all of last year, and we continue that focus this year. This is incredible work that has to happen in order for us to prepare our children to participate in the workforce. We must have participation in our CTE programs. We cannot marginalize participation in CTE. Now, those of you who were here and taught at GW High School, Ms. Whittle, those of you who taught with me at GW, we called it the vocational education program. And believe it or not, when we were going through strategic planning, communication, people did not realize that CTE was equivalent to vocational ed. They did not realize. They thought we'd done away with vocational education. So we have to really get out there and let people know it's moving on. I'm very proud of the fact we've added plumbing, electricity, welding, and cosmetology. Mr. Payne, cosmetology. Because we know that these are fields that children can earn great livings in and do quite well. And so what are the numbers? We continue to have a stable participation in governor's school. We continue to have participation in our engineering program. Not where we want it to be, but we know that we're removing those math barriers by having the Algebra 1 taught in middle school. So when children are ready to apply for these programs, they are prepared with the mathematics. 20 students entered early college. That had to be quite fearful. I mean, it was frightening to me to think that they were going over there to sit in college courses, but they are excited, they're doing well, and you all have taken good care of them, Dr. Wallace and Dr. Johnson. I thank Ms. Ramsey for upticking and getting more kids in our IB program. We need to have challenges for our children. We need to invest in our children, and we look forward to growing that program And this year, 339 children individual enrollments in advanced placement. One of the students at GW asked me about this tough academic work that they're having to do this year. Why is that? And I said because you can, and we believe in you. And also our dual enrollment courses are at 46. And so what's happening with gifted programs? Because sometimes when we're in high poverty communities, the poverty can mask the giftedness. The poverty can mask the giftedness. And so I want to thank Kim Agner for seeing through that and getting the research behind it and creating an opportunity for children to assess and be identified as gifted. And that has been an uptick for us, 398 students this year, up from about 250. We also offer 10 courses to earn credits in middle school. In middle school, we have students in 8th grade this year in Algebra 2. In Algebra 2, can you imagine what we're creating there when we have students in middle school in Algebra 2? And we have more than 50 courses where kids can earn credit, college credit in high school. These are things you don't hear about. These are things you don't hear about, and children doing well every single day. And we haven't forgotten the arts. And we were able to drag Mr. Purvis out of retirement. He fought, boy, he had gotten really comfortable. I said, Mr. Purvis, you're legendary. We need you to advocate and support our arts, our performing arts. And he's been working with us since, and the performances have been wonderful. Because oftentimes, again, when districts are struggling academically, they let go of the arts and they double the core courses. We have not done that because the arts, they make a difference. They inspire children to remain engaged. And so we have not let go of our arts program. We, in fact, have added to the arts to include dance and some other kinds of things. And we're working on some enrollment challenges with some of our drama programs, but other programs are growing. This year we had 25 additional students register for band. So we know that kids are going to benefit.
STEMscopes is an online program. It houses our textbook and then other STEMscopes is an online program. It houses our textbook and then other resources. And then it also comes with learning equipment kits. And so anything that it says you need to do online comes in the kit. So if it says that you need a hot plate, then the teachers have a hot plate in the kit. It has math connections, it has linking literacy, so it incorporates the reading and the writing in the science investigations.
We are learning about the different forms of energy, and we have split the class into 3 groups. Each group has different objects that they are going to explore and observe how they work and write down what forms of energy they are, if they are transforming energy, if they're conserving energy. And then they will work with a partner reflecting on everything they've learned in writing.
I like STEMscopes because the experiments are really fun because you have a hands-on experience and like you can feel like what the different items feel like and like what they do. What we're learning now is energy, so like in this case it would be like what energy they cause, and it helps you take notes and learn what they are.
In the box there was a fan, Christmas lights, and a radio we used. But first we used the radio because we found out the radio produced sound energy.
So there's like for example, there was that generator hand thing, and when you would and there was a handle, so you would crank the handle and then the light bulb would, produce radiant energy, which is light.
If you just read a textbook and take notes, that's not really gonna stay in your brain because it was kind of boring. And if you actually do hand-in-hand experiments, when you do the test, you're gonna be like, hey, I did an experiment on this, and then you can remember what you did, and then you can answer the questions.
It allows them to have a textbook, it allows them to read online, it allows them to have the hands-on. So once they have the hands-on, Then they can go back to their Chromebooks, and STEM Scopes allows them to see the pictures just like it will be on the SOL.
We see across the district, teachers are just running away with it, and so they have been actually doing about 2 to 3 per week in most science classes, and so our scientists are hard at work and are engaged in science, which we know will in return increase our science scores this year.
I should have introduced that. Primarily, I wanted to say that STEM and STEAM are 2 areas of focus as well, and I want to share with you, and I know she's going to hate this, but Ms. Simmons at Schoolfield and Principal Bennett at Park Avenue, the only subject that kept them from accreditation this year was science. And that's because science is taught over 2 years, and they were out, and we understood that. But we want science to be engaging and fun, too. And so we know that this year is going to be a different year for our science scores and our science just in general. Science should be fun. It shouldn't just be reading, and test. And so this is an opportunity for us to send that message. Now, digging deeper into CTE, because I want to go back to that and again, emphasize the fact that that is a workforce development opportunity for us. And when you look at the numbers, we see children signing up in a big way, Lieutenant Colonel Harrison, for criminal justice. Amazing. We see children signing up for registering and enrolled in cybersecurity and robotics. The culinary program is taking off, the welding and precision machining. So we know that these, again, are opportunities, because when children show up to be engaged in some of these other programs that are non-core, it helps the core. It helps elevate everyone. And so we're continuing with our precision machining and excited to see our numbers go up in that area. They're doing great work on the principal deskins, and thank you so much for continuing that work. So goal area 2, I won't spend as much time on, but I do want you to know that goal area 2 was operations and internal processes. Safe and high quality facilities was an initial area that we wanted to focus on, and I can tell you this effort will change Danville Public Schools for many years to come. And basically, this work was a unified effort. First, we had to have our city council, our city manager, our school board members all on board for this initiative. I remember walking into the school district and someone talking about a 1% sales tax, and I thought, oh my Lord, can we get this done with all the other things that are on our plate? But I think, Mr. Atkins, you pushed and got your committee together, you and Mr. Lewis, whom I just have worked with for so many years, Kenny Lewis, got that committee going, and we were able to do this as a community. So I really think we all need to applaud the community and applaud yourselves, because this opportunity means $140 million in investment in our school district, and more to come. The track will be finished in about a month, and I know we'll be very proud of that. But almost $80 million into GW High School. They're planning today. Galileo and a new central office at the Langston campus, and the Johnson conceptual drawing for a new school is there before you, which will start in April. This is an amazing opportunity and time for our children, and we cannot go without thanking Danny Marshall for his vision for our community, because not every community in the state of Virginia has this opportunity, and we were not only able to take advantage of it, we were able to push it forward and had community members, some of our Westmoreland friends are here today, to say, yes, we believe in the children in the Danville Public Schools enough to get out there and push for our children. So this has been just an amazing opportunity for children and a fun experience. In addition, we always focus on our transportation because we have nice buildings, and if we have, we got to get them there. So we continue to praise our bus drivers and our transportation, and the one thing they asked for, they didn't ask for pay raise. Now, they probably will, Mr. Payne, but they really asked for air conditioning. Okay, Chair Cobb, they asked for air conditioning. And the school board approved the budget to get 100% of our buses air conditioned, and we have been able to purchase new buses. And we continue, Ms. Mims, to try to feed children the best we can. And this past year, we fed almost 1 million meals to our children. So I want to thank everybody in that department. Staff growing in capacity. We also heard during the strategic planning process that our teachers wanted greater opportunities to learn. But a part of this goal was to recruit, hire, and retain quality staff. Recruit, hire, and retain. Now, I took a pretty good beating last year. I really did. But you know what? We're 98% staffed, which means people want to be. People want to work in the Danville Public Schools. They like coming to Danville, Mr. Larkin. They really do. They like Danville. And we're going to continue to work on the retention part because the effort to recruit is just quite difficult. But I also want to highlight a partnership. We went to Avery, Dr. Franks. We came to you for help. And in that help, your team collaborated with us. Your team said to us, if you have teachers who would like to teach special education, we will work with you on a master's degree program. If your teachers want a reading endorsement, we will work with you on the reading endorsement, and that is happening as we speak. If you have teachers with a degree and they need an alternate certification method, we will work with you on that. And thank you, Dr. Franks, and please thank your team for the work and the investment in the Danville Public Schools, because part of the work of being fully staffed was working clearly with Avery University, my alma mater, and I'm so very proud to have that. We also are working with our Department of Social Services to ensure that folks that are on any kind of assistance can gain employment and not lose those benefits. So we are working with the city and everybody around us to ensure that we stay staffed. And yes, today you probably had problems parking if you came after 7:30, because we have almost 200 staff members here for this type of training, building capacity, investing in our staff, and investing in our future. And I want to say, we do listen. Some people say we don't listen, but we do listen. We have our Teachers of the Year today. If you're a Teacher of the Year, please stand. Please stand. So our Teachers of the Year represent all teachers, and they meet with me throughout the year to talk about issues around teaching and climate and environment and all those kinds of things. We also meet with our classified staff. Katia Green leads a parent engagement committee. I think, Ms. Avery, you're on that committee, a part of that committee. And so I really believe that we are moving in the right direction, but we are here to listen and we are here to pay attention. And this year we have a new student advisory team, which starts in November. Stakeholder engagement and communication. This is very, very important. Our community said throughout the process, we want to help. We want to be a part of the school district. We want to help drive that success. And that looks like support of our STEAM night. Remember, science and the kids have to be able to see. They must be able to see what they can be. And you all provide that annually at Bonner at our STEAM night. The books for kids. Recognize someone in here? The books for kids, very important, because the community is saying to us, we believe in providing resources for children, but more than that, we believe in early literacy. Our fire department and so many others provided supplies for children in such a big way, in such an early opportunity. We've had our resource fair, our STEAM night, the Institute, Dr. Brown, right here, our Graduate of Distinction program, which is just absolutely remarkable. Johnny Newman adopting Woodbury, our Danville Police Department over at Johnson. I cannot say enough about some of the opportunities that have existed for our children here in the city. Now, my staff warned me not to do this, but I have to say thank you. I have to say thank you to DRF for supporting us with this strategic plan. I have to say, Councilman Hood with your Tuesday support groups, the Peace Center with the police department looking after kids, the college tour conducted by Dr. I just want to call him Dr. Tommy Bennett, Mr. Bennett. You all know Tommy. And of course, Mayor Jones was a part of that initiative. The academic scholarships provided by our I'm going to just say Divine Nine, because if I miss something, Ms. Brakeley will be all over me if I miss one of the groups. The Dan River Church doing something it seems small, donuts for teachers, but I'm telling you, it's the small things that matter, you all. It's the small things that matter. Union Church giving supplies to gifts, and Bible Way having a 9 through 12 leadership program where kids earn a $1,000 scholarship and give new laptops. The Big Brothers Big Sisters program, Pat Daniel, the Transition Stop, the church-based tutorial, Books for Kids, AVERT partnering with our teachers, Danville Community College having our kids on campus, not just for early college, but for other experiences as well. Parks and Recreation's renewed partnership, our library providing books for children, just walk in and give their names and they have books, and much, much more. Our civic organizations, the Lions Club sending kids to space camp, the athletic team supported by the Daily Group, supported by the tennis community group, the Community Foundation, JT Minimar, so many more, providing lunch so that our police officers could go in and eat with our children. There are so many opportunities for our community to engage in supporting children. But we have to remember, when we engage, we must teach. We can't just give and walk away. We must teach. And so just think about that as we continue to give. We have a giving community, a great community, and this is the reason we're seeing so many successes here, because we cannot do it alone. And if I left you off, please forgive me, but my staff warned me not to do this, Shakiva, but I did it anyway, because I have to say thank you. And some of our schools bought some of their partners. If you are a school partner, would you stand? Awesome. Thank you so much. And so last but not least is culture and climate. I told you this is one of the most important that we have. We must believe in ourselves. We must believe in our children. We cannot allow demographics and financial status to be an excuse. It cannot be an excuse. We have to believe that all children can learn and all children can do when they're provided the opportunities. And so I wanted you to know that each year we provide a climate survey and some of the results, some of the things, just so you know we look at. We're not just going out all blind. We look at things like staff collegiality, because we know that when teachers have friends and employees have friends in the environment, they're more likely to stay. So this is important for us. Rigorous instruction is important. It is easy to lower expectations because we all feel good. We all feel good when we walk out with A's, but it's not the right thing to do. Rigor and expectations go hand in hand. Perceptions of safety. Safety is so incredibly important. I cannot tell you how many times, and I hope your wife is understanding, Mr. McLaughlin, because I know you and Dr. Lyle, I probably text you all 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning about safety issues, or half the middle of the night on weekends, anytime. And I thank you for your patience, and I'm glad that you all are part of our team. And school connectedness. We know that our children must be engaged in school beyond the school day, and so we are working on that. I can remember 25 years ago when Kenny Lewis had a vision about church-based tutorial. It was about being connected. It's probably more like 30 years, but I didn't want to tell his age, But it really was about school connectedness, being connected to the learning environment. And now wraparound services. Years ago, wraparound services was not a term that we were familiar with. But these days, in order for children to access learning, we must have wraparound services. We cannot survive with one social worker. We must have mentoring. We must have tutoring. It plays an important part of what we do. We must have opportunities through adult education. The transition stop is more important than ever in providing people with clothing and foods and those kinds of things. Mental health services, I never thought I would see mental health services needed in our schools, but it is critical to helping children access the learning. Behavioral specialists, we've seen a spike since COVID in various types of just strange behaviors that can take over a class and impact learning. And I'm so thankful that we've been able to add those behavioral specialists to not only support the teachers, but to support the children in correcting their behavior. And of course, our school-based clinic at GW High School has been a part of those wraparound services. Wraparound services today is almost equivalent to the reading. You can't have greatness in one and not greatness in the other. It's incredibly important. And if you're in the schoolhouse, you now realize how important those services are. You realize that children sometimes show up for all of their meals at the school. You realize that children are oftentimes coming to school for that mental health, that support from staying up all night. And social media exaggerates a lot of that. And it's not that parents don't care, but parents are struggling themselves. And so we want to be sure that we recognize that they go hand in hand. And that's how the teachers are able to really effectively impact every child, is ensuring they have the support services for children. So before I go to the next one, I want to say that, I'm closing, but I want to say that this young man that we feature next, to me, and I wanted you to hear from him, because he is a student that has his great parents, but he's a student that has benefited from so much support. But he is a student who was an unlikely person to be where he is today. And I want you to hear from one of our students.
I define courage as how willing you are to take on a task that isn't particularly easy. So uphill battles, or anything like let's say you were diagnosed with cancer, that takes courage to embark on that cancer journey. That's a task that you don't particularly want to do. So I think I define courage as how easy or how willing are you to take on a task that you don't want to do, and about how motivated and how quick you are to do it is how much courage that you have. So if you're dragging your feet on it, it might not be a lot of courage, but if you're it's hard, whatever, you get up, you do it. That's how I define courage. My freshman year of high school, my grandmother died, and I didn't particularly do well that year. I barely passed every class, and there are goals that I wanted to hit, and I was okay, I didn't set myself up well for these goals at all. And I would talk to a counselor, and they were it's gonna be a tough battle. You might can do this, you might can do that. I would tell my counselor, I want to be an honor grad, I want to be a graduate of distinction. And after basically getting D's and C's in every class of my freshman year, they were just it's gonna be a real uphill battle. But I was if there's a way I can do it, I'm gonna do it. Just tell me what I need to do and it's gonna get done. So they're okay, you need to make straight A's this semester. You need to make straight A's here. You need to do this. So I was cool, I'm gonna do that. So I set off my sophomore year, I'm gonna make straight A's, I'm gonna get to that point. Well, COVID hit and it kicked us out of school, and it kind of threw a loop for everything. So then it was now it's another battle. Not only do I need to get A's in all these classes, I need to do this at home. And I have to teach myself how to do a lot of this stuff. And, I just stepped up to the task. I had the courage to do it, the courage to say, whatever, I'm going to get it done. So I doubled up on all my classes. I doubled up on all my maths. I doubled up on all my histories. I took as many AP classes that I could because I knew it was all weighted towards my GPA. And I stepped up to that task because I had a goal in mind that I wanted to do. And it was a huge workload. I was tired for like a year and a half of my life, but it was worth it in the end because I got to do everything that like I've been proud of my senior year. I say like that whole process from 9th all the way to 12th grade year, I was using courage at different points in time to motivate me to do this, where I easily could have just said, you know, I just want to pass my classes and graduate. But I didn't just want to pass my classes and graduate, which that's an accomplishment in itself. But for me, I wanted to get that next step. I wanted to be able to have that experience that I envisioned for high school. So yeah, that's where I use courage.
And I love David because David beat the odds. For an African-American male to be in a failing pattern and decide, I want to be a great student, that took courage, right? It took courage for him not to join a gang. It took courage for him not to get in trouble. It took courage for him to sign up for an AP class. Have you ever thought about the courage it takes to be just a failing student and go sign up for an AP class? Everybody's looking at you like, what are you doing in here? Why are you in here? It took courage, and he is just a phenomenal, but we have hundreds of kids like David, hundreds of kids. And so we can't reduce ourselves to a few children that we see making bad choices. We're gonna help them. We're not gonna toss them away. We're not gonna leave them out. But we have to celebrate our children who do the right work and give them opportunities. You know, our city has a phenomenal internship program that's a collaborative between the city and the public schools and workforce development. And Julie is on it because Dr. Brown, you know, she's on something, boy, she's on it. You're gonna tick, 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 get it done. But I mean, I'm saying our kids have this phenomenal opportunity and we have to recognize that. And yes, we have challenges and we're gonna handle those challenges, but we need you as well because of kids like David, because we can make this happen. And I also want to recognize the students here today. If you're a student, would you stand? Awesome. Thank you for being here. And thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. So when we think about a card on your table, I can tell you our school board works hard. I mean, they and I didn't mention this, they have revised and rewritten over 100 policies on behalf of children. That's a heavy lift. That's a lot of hours that they're spending reviewing policies to make sure we have the right foundation and the right work moving forward on behalf of kids. And I want to thank each and every one of you all because you have been a phenomenal school board. You really have. But we need you. We need you. You're here because you're involved. But we need you to go out and get other people involved and tell them that change is tough. You know, change is tough. You know, we get comfortable. There have been days when I tell you, there have been days I thought, well, maybe I need to just kiss babies, sign some MOUs, and sit down. Because I just tell you, it's been tough, right? My butt has been worn out, chopped up, spit out, called all kind of names. And it was very painful. But thank God I have a wonderful husband. Thank God I have a wonderful board chair who comes to me on behalf of the board and says, hang in there, we're moving in the right direction. And Ken Larkin, I want to thank you as well because you're awesome. And he keeps me motivated, keeps me going, and says, hey, we got this. And so I appreciate all of the positive things. And some of you say, well, I wish I could go on Facebook and defend you, but I can't. You're just going to have to take it and eat it. You know, you have to take it. I'm like, okay, all right, okay. You know, and Dr. Lau always, you know what they said, Dr. Harrison, about you? I'm like, no, Dr. Lau, don't tell me anymore, you know. He likes to keep me humble, I believe, you know. But I appreciate it. So anyway, cards are here for you, and I hope that you go out and convince people that our school and our children are worth it, because they are. They are. And in closing, I'll share a little video that highlights some of the work.
much.
So I'm the impromptu closer. Go have a great day. Thank you.